to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. With me on Zoom, the knowledge Spencer Fearon. Spencer, good to see you as always. How are we doing?
I'm good, even better for seeing you, speaking to you, Raz. I pray everything's good with you and the family.
I appreciate that, Spence. Appreciate that. There's a few little topics going around, Spence, but I think the first one to start on is the most recent incident that took place last night, and your face was circulating across all the videos I saw. Richard-Riakporhe and Lawrence Okolie, looks like they had a little fiery interaction. Could you just give us a bit of insight on what exactly happened and what started it?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. Egos can get the better of people, I believe. But I was pretty much disturbed because I turned up to the red carpet event, and let me just say massive thank you to Tony Bellew and his family for providing me with my tickets for myself and my son Amari. We really did enjoy it. It was really, really good. But yeah, I enjoyed that red carpet experience with my son because it's the first time that he's been on a red carpet. Like, Daddy, you go to these things all the time. And I said, yeah, but I would rather be present with you and enjoy the fact that I'm with my son. So he really enjoyed it. So I've got to say a massive big up to Tony Bellew and all of the people at Warner for providing the hospitality that they did. So it was fun. So anyway, I get on the red carpet. I see Umar. We do a little bit of it. We do an interview, and it was nice. It was nice. And then my son got to meet his heroes because he's massive into Marvel. So he gets to meet Michael B. Jordan. We showed him a lot of love. He also got to meet Jonathan Majors, who's like the bad guy in the movie, and it was nice. And when I'm there, I see Richard-Riakporhe. So me and Richard have a really good talk. Richard said, "You know what, Spence? I don't even feel to stay for this. Usually I just come to the red carpet, take the pictures, and I go home. I don't usually stay for the movies." I said, "Are you nuts? It's Creed. It's like Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. You got to stay for it, man. We got to support the team," which he did. And then I go to watch the movie, which is really cool. My son gets to meet Jamie Foxx, who sat beside us. I have to big up Jamie Foxx and show my son a lot of love. Even gave my son loads of popcorn. So big up Jamie Foxx, beautiful human being. And the movie ends. I'm leaving out. I see one of my security guys, Angel. I said, "Look, I want to go to the toilet, look after my son." So my son's 11, right? So I've gone to the toilet. Now, as I've come out of the toilet, I'm just hearing screaming and shouting. So I'm looking, it's quite dark because this is in the foyer of the IMAX in Leicester Square. So I'm trying to see what's going on. As I look, I see it's Lawrence Okolie and Richard-Riakporhe. And they were properly having it. They it wasn't staged. And I know how it may have started, right? It may have started because Lawrence was like, "Yeah, don't worry, I'll see you that we're gonna have it. We're gonna get on." When I was outside, I said to Richard, if I was a boxing fan and I saw you on Sky, no disrespect, but South London lost that one. Hackney got the better of that one. And he was like, "Nah." And I said, "I understand that you got image to protect, and you are. He's doing modeling, he's doing loads of stuff now. So he has those things to protect and to behave in a certain way." So to see them two kick off, I know Lawrence was the one that instigated it. And Richard, "I'm not going to back down." And it kicked off. But the reason why I found it disturbing, because Dave Coolman was there with his son too. I was there with my son, Amari. I'm like, I don't want my children witnessing that, right? And I get it, and it wasn't something that was orchestrated. It wasn't planned. Everyone think, oh yeah, it's staged. It wasn't staged. That was serious. And if you know the story of, especially of the come up of Richard Riakporhe, he knows where certain things can lead to. He knows because Richard Riakporhe was a person that physically died on an operating table when he got stabbed in his chest. Reason why I know, because Richard Riakporhe came from from Ellsbury Estate. That's a serious estate. You know what I mean? Which is Camberwell, bordering onto Peckham. He knows. He get what I'm trying to say to you. So he knows that. So I understand the brand that Richard's trying to protect, but I also understand that as a fighter, you also have a brand of integrity to yourself. So I see where it was going to, you know. But the reason why I stepped in and people say respect to crime. No, I was that passionate because my child's there. You mean now any father has to know like you have to be protected or have that protective nature over your child. That's my son. Right? And the maddest thing is like my son was meeting Richard Pryor. I was meeting Lawrence Pryor. I'm getting pictures with him. Right? I have to explain to my son who these people are, but I'm saying you have to props these guys. These guys have done good for themselves. They have done good for themselves. But what I can't stand, I don't like things like that. Especially from my community, because I know sometimes it could lead into other stupidness, right? Which I'm not an advocate of. I don't believe that Richard Riakporhe is an advocate of. I definitely don't believe that Lawrence Okolie is an advocate of. But I understand you're a professional fighter, you're a gladiator. But I think a lot of people could learn a lot from Chris Eubank Sr., who could belittle somebody, who could sell a fight, who could hype a fight without using profanity, without raising his fist to somebody, without trying to hurt someone. You can learn a lot from that, right? So there's intimidation. Intimidation comes from many different forms, right? So you just say, right, I'm gonna have it with you because you've got a fighting spirit. Remember, this is a business as well. Don't throw punches for free. Okay? Do it where you are legally entitled to throw punches at somebody. I don't think nobody's real intention is to maim anyone, never. But you could actually do damage. So save that to the ring. But it has created a lot of hype.
Spence, from what I know of both Richard and Lawrence, I've interviewed them many times, and most people would say probably the same thing. They're two very calm athletes in pressures. They both carry themselves very well. You stated there earlier that Lawrence initiated it. What did Lawrence do to get that kind of reaction from Richard?
I'm going to tell you the truth, right? I heard, because they're both Nigerian descent, it was whose parents made the best jollof rice. That's what I heard, all right? Simple as that, right? And Richard said, nah, my mom can make the baddest jollof rice. And Lawrence said, no, my mom makes the baddest jollof rice. This is what you talk about my mom. And they kicked off from it. I don't know what happened, but yeah. You know what I mean?
But with
sorry, may I add, the best jollof rice actually comes from Sierra Leone, right? So I'm sorry about all you Nigerians and all you Ghanaians, but the best jollof was made by Auntie Julo, my dear friend Edmund Clotty's mom, who passed away. She made the best jollof, and she was from Sierra Leone.
With Lawrence being the WBO champion, we know he's got his mandatory against David Light, and then Lawrence wants to become the unified champion. He's now on Sky as well. He's fighting on Sky. Richard Riakporhe coming off a great win of Glowacki, for a former world champion. So, is this looking nice and almost, you know, what boxing fans want is two great athletes got issues out of the ring. They're going to settle it in the ring, hopefully by the end of the year.
Hopefully. I believe that will happen. Lawrence does have to take care of business. It's that on March 25th. And I would say that Richard, I think he's got to take over fight in the meantime. And we'll have to look at this. Let's be realistic with this, right? Take away they're not great amateur experience. It was very rushed for both of them, right? It wasn't long, extensive amateur careers. And both of them got into the sport relatively late. But what I would say is that fight would be the hardest punching cruiserweights in the world. And arguably the hardest two punchers in a weight division to ever clash against each other this year or the year after. Because go and speak to anyone who's sparred with Rich Riakporhe, who's fought Rich Riakporhe. He punches ridiculously hard, right? And Lawrence Okolie, for all these frailties in having a very unorthodox style, the worst thing that could happen for professional boxers who are in the cruiserweight division was him linking up with Sugar Hill. Because now Sugar Hill will teach him to sit down with his punches, right? And to not waste shots. And everything will be like that, a lot of Kronk style, which is everything is hurtful. And they go through, Kronk fighters like to go through the middle, right? But they really do like to extend over that right hand. So this is arguably the biggest punching event that we have had, maybe in British boxing history.
Interesting.
Seriously.
Interesting.
I think the only one that would top that was Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno, because both of those could really bang, right? But outside of that, you're not going to see a bigger. You're not going to was that October '93 that fight. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see a bigger fight between two punches than that fight there.
Well, we look forward to it and see what happens over the course of 2023. Spence, just a couple of other quick topics. Yesterday, the day before, Chris Eubank Jr. publicly stated, I have asked my team to activate the rematch clause against Liam Smith. What does he need to do? Or what does he need to do differently to prepare to be in a better state and in order for him to win?
Don't tell anybody that you can beat somebody at 60%. Because once you put that out to the universe that I'll beat you at 60%, I don't care if you give 100%, in your mindset, you've only given 60%. That's number one. You've got to speak it till you seek it till you see what you say. He spoke it on himself. You know what I mean? I think he's very, very tunnel visioned in a human being. He's very, very, a lot of his father, he has that form of stubbornness, which is he's going to have to activate in this fight. But he's going to pick up fundamentals. Is that going to be enough time for you to pick up fundamentals? For you not to be it's, you know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? I wish the man all the best. I respect him for initiating the rematch clause, and we shall see what's going to happen.
Another fight that everyone's waiting to hear announcement is Fury Usyk. We heard it was going to go early, around March and then April, and then rumors start circling that the Saudis didn't want it and there were issues financially and Fury was outpriced himself. Bob Arum's come back today and said that he did an interview, can't remember where, and he said that Saudis couldn't work around the time frame. So they are looking at Wembley and it looks like it's going to land Wembley. So I'm sure British fans are happy that it's going to land in the UK.
It's excellent that it does land in the UK because it'd be the first undisputed heavyweight title fight in the UK ever. And that's massive. Like ever. We've never had one before. So for us to have that is something really to salivate over and look forward to. But you know, hey, I hope that fight does happen. I really do hope that fight happens. So we shall see.
Spence, I'm not sure if you watched Robert Smith's interview on TalkSport, which he did.
Unfortunately, I didn't see it. Loads of people have been telling me.
With Spencer Oliver and Simon Jordan. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, but if you haven't seen it, then we can do this another time. You can go away.
You can tell me what Robert Smith said.
I mean, he kind of gave his side of events in the best way he could. He couldn't speak too much because there are a lot of legal issues going on. But one of the things that he did say was that about the licensing of Conor Benn, if he was to go and get a license from abroad and come to the UK, it wouldn't work this time round. Chisora Hay, there were kind of...
I heard there was loopholes. There was loopholes in it. Why that could happen.
But now there aren't those. So with Eddie being so confident that Conor Benn's going to return May, June, does it look ever likely that now it looks like if he's going to return, it's going to be abroad, it's not going to be the UK until this whole process has come to an end, which we don't know when it will.
Well, we don't know when the process is going to come to an end, so then maybe we won't be able to see Connor on the UK shores until he takes care of what he takes care of.
Jake Paul, Tommy Fury next week. I just want to get your thoughts on the WBC saying that if Jake Paul wins, he will be ranked with the WBC. A lot of backlash from a lot of people around this. Whether is it boxing related, is it commercially related? What do you make of it?
My friend, it's commercially related. I understand why the WBC are doing what they're doing, because they know Jake Paul brings in numbers. But let's be real, it's absolutely ludicrous that it is, because how can you be ranked in the top 15? Who have you fought to get that ranking? Surely Tommy Fury cannot be the validator of you getting in the top 15, because if Tommy Fury is in the top 15 in Great Britain, and that's no disrespect to Tommy Fury, I'm just saying you're not. So if you're not the top 15 of Great Britain, how the hell can someone fight you, beat you, then be the top 15 in the world? It makes no sense to me. But I understand why the WBC are doing it, because the thing about it is this: we cannot be so damning. The world's changing. The parameters of our sport is changing. It's changing, right? So it's either like, no, we're gonna stay and we're gonna stay to the authenticity of the sport. Yes, we have to respect the authenticity of the sport, no doubt. Because if you don't respect it, it will not respect you. But it's changing and things are getting kind of crazy, right? So as they're kind of getting crazy, rather we go with the craziness, but we try to monitor the craziness. But these guys getting ranked in the top 15, as far as I'm concerned, ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. But you know what? If either of them could win, come out victorious, and then go on and fight somebody who is ranked around the top 15, then yeah, I could say, yeah, well, you deserve to be in the top 15. But how can you be in the top 15? You ain't fought no one in the top 15. How does that work?
Absolutely.
You know
No,
so I like to respect the authenticity of the sport. I'm just being real.
Okay, Spencer, anything else you'd like to add before we end?
No, nothing much bar saying a shout out to my brother-in-law Jules, who stated to me after watching the kerfuffle that has gone viral. I don't know. Last I saw it was like on something like 3 million views. With Lawrence Okolie and Riakporhe. It's crazy views that it's had, and over on Twitter as well, and stuff like that. And everyone is sharing it. You know what I mean? And before I used to be I didn't want to be called Unks. Like everyone would say, yeah, Unks. Like my guy Jonathan Pilate, everything was him. Yeah, Unks. I'm like, don't call me Unks. I want to be young. I want to be young. I'm 50 years old this year. But it says in Scripture that in the book of Matthew that blessed are the peacemakers, for they are the children of God. I know that I'm trying my best to walk godly. And I'm saying this again. The reason why I get so passionate about human life is because I've endured multiple people passing. And because of that, like family members, my mom, I remember my father passed away 17 years ago. I've enjoyed that. But when you're young, if it's a natural order, you know what I mean? My mom was 90 when she passed, nearly 90, a couple months away from her 90th birthday. Does that hurt? No, because that's the natural order. It hurts because my mom and I can't pick up the phone and say, hey, mom, what's going on? And I do the school runs and I'm driving in my car and my kids can't speak to their grandma anymore, their nanny, that's what they call it, right? They can't speak to their nanny. That hurts. But when you are young and you are fresh and you are vibrant, like these young men are, we have to respect life. We really do have to respect life. And we have a responsibility to show others as being role models that we are respecters of life. Because when you're gone, you can't get it back. So I think with those young men there, especially from the communities that they come from, Lawrence being from Hackney, a murder mile in Hackney was rife. Lawrence knows of these things. And this is not me trying to dissect Lawrence Okolie, but Lawrence Okolie never came across like he was on that crowd, like he was that street kid. He wasn't. He openly admits he was that kid. Richard Riakporhe was that kid. But Lawrence has had encounters with people who were that street kid. So even more so, let us be respectful of life. But I am going to say this. I love boxing. And I do want to see those two fight badly. I want to see that fight. No, badly. And I do think I would pay handily for pay-per-view. No chip box, no illegal streams, right? I'm only going to do that for the zone. Right now, I'm saying to you, can't take the price hike, Eddie. Right? So I'm saying to you, I would pay for that because I know that synergy that these two men have will bring out the best of each other. It will bring out the best. And when two guys can punch like that, it's something magical, I believe, would happen. So like I said, let me be a peacemaker on that. And I'm glad I was a peacemaker. But yeah, I do badly want to see them fight. So Lawrence Okolie, handle your business on March 25th. Richard Riakporhe, keep on ticking over, and hopefully this could be something that the crowd, the boxing public, and everybody else will appreciate. And the nicest thing is everybody's speaking about it. For whatever reason they're speaking about it. So it's a good thing.
Spencer Fearon, a pleasure as always for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.